Meeting to order. Wow. Start with the prayer and a pledge. Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for bringing us together to do this city's business. Help us to do it honestly and uprightly. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Powell?
Here.
Mr. Bronner?
Here.
Mr. Bishop?
Here.
Mr. Boehner?
Here.
Mr. Tommen?
Here.
Mrs. Kroger? Here. Mrs. Edichico? Here.
7 present. We have a quorum for business and legislation. So we have minutes to approve from the October 18th legislative session.
So moved.
So
Second.
motion by Mr. Boehner and a second by Mr. Bronner to approve the meeting minutes from October 18th. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Audience seeking participation. I see lots of people. Come on up.
Audience participation. Would you like a copy of some documents?
Yes, please. So there are some rules. There's this paragraph I'm supposed to read. I don't have it with me.
Go ahead and read the rules.
State your name, your address. If you want something you want to share, go ahead and share it. You get 5 minutes. Council can extend that time as needed if they so choose.
Name is Donald Benbow. I live at 117 Siebenthaler, Reading, Ohio, 45215. I'm here, let me get my notes. I'm not here to complain necessarily, as I am to try to instigate some kind of a process. I want to thank you people for letting me speak and taking the time to listen. Also, I want to make it clear that your clerk, Debbie, has been very helpful to me. However, I think she's in over her head and she needs some support from the rest of you. And since you all have the contract with MSD and you sell water, I don't know what your contractual relationship is with the MSD, but I do know that you send me the bill. So if you send me the bill, then I consider that I'm talking to the right people, because I've tried talking to the other people and that doesn't work. So I'd like to instigate a process here where if people use water that is not pumped into the sewer for some reason, that they get a credit on their sewer bill. I know they do that for underground leakage. They'll charge you for the water, but if they can prove an underground leak that didn't go in the sewer, they'll give you credit. Well, I had an occasion to repair my swimming pool this summer, and I had to pump it about half down to make the repair, so all of that water was discharged into my backyard, not into the sewer. And and this is just documentation to show you how the system doesn't work now, and maybe we can work out a way to fix it. So I sent the City of Reading a letter early August, and that would be item 1 for your consideration. You can disregard the part about the Rumpke recycling and stuff. They've quit dumping it on the street, so somebody did a good job with that. But the water was pumped to drain, so I calculated, being an engineering type, the number of cubic feet of water that went into the backyard instead of into the drain, and it's listed in that letter. There's a copy of my water bill as item 2. You'll notice in August there's a spike, but you'll also notice that in the summertime I realize I use more water. I use it for irrigation, to water plants and things around the pool and yard and so forth, so it goes up naturally, but there's one spike there in August where I refilled the pool, and I'm not asking for a rebate on any of the rest of it, but I am asking for the water that I refilled the pool with. Item number 3 is communication I've had with Debbie. You have to start on the back page and read forward, but she advised me that I should take this matter up with MSD. Well, I hesitated to do that because I need to be taking it up with the City of Reading, since you're the billing agent and you have the relationship with MSD, but I did it anyway. And I filled out their online account form and so forth. And I noticed that they told me and in 180 days, they would tell me something. Well, it didn't take them that long. Pretty soon, I got the letter, which is item number 4, and it says, please contact the city of Reading with your request. So that put the ball squarely back in your court and left me kind of out in the cold. So I wondered if y'all could work on something that would, A, get me a refund, and in the future, because next year I'm probably going to have to replace the liner, I'm going to want to pump that pool completely down sooner or later, and I'm going to want to credit, at that time, I'm going to want to credit for the water that came out of the pool that was paid for and billed for sewer charges, but was not a sewer thing. So I wondered how we could fix this.
I know my mother-in-law has a swimming pool, and when she discharges the water, she doesn't get charged the sewage, but it's when you fill it back up, when you use the water, you get charged the sewerage fee on that. And she calls ahead of time to the city and works it out, saying this is what we're gonna be doing, and I believe there's some consideration there. So I think you have to get out in front of it a little bit instead of filling it and then ask.
Does she live in Reading?
She does.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess I'm being discriminated against.
But did you call ahead of time to say,
Well,
hey,
I didn't call
filling
ahead
the
of
pool?
time, but I don't know why I should have to. Because you never know how far you're gonna have to pump it down, so you never know how much water you're gonna use. So when I found the leak, I pumped it down enough to fix the leak, and then I filled it back up, and that's how much water, whatever I filled it up with, didn't have a sewer charge on it, because that's how much I pumped out.
I can't remember the name of what they call the meter, but it's a secondary water meter that you can connect to the, anything that services the outside. Have you considered that?
I did consider that, and your good old MSD folks told me, and I did this 10 years ago, told me that they didn't do that for residential customers. Maybe the law has changed. I haven't checked it lately, but I was gonna do that 10 years ago, and they told me, no, can't do that. I also understand that most of the taps in the city are what they call 5/8" taps, and mine happens to be an inch tap, and I believe it is exempt from the consideration of a little bit of water use for gardening and so forth and so on. I know that the sewer district does have a formula that they use to calculate a certain amount for external use for just your average homeowner, but I don't seem to be able to fit in either situation. I'm a residential customer, but I have an inch meter. So I don't know where we're at with that, but the thing is, I should be able to advise you that I've used this water. We can go measure the pool. I took a picture, and I'd expect that I should not have to pay for something that went down the sewer, or that didn't go down the sewer. It went out in the backyard. So there needs to be a process. Well, I'm not telling you I'm complaining necessarily. There needs to be a process, a known published process for me to be able to do that. If it's call ahead, fine, but I don't know how accurate the numbers are gonna be because you can't always tell where the leak is. If I could have fixed it from above, I would have, but it happened to be in the bottom of the shallow end, and I couldn't get deep enough to do it without draining it, that part of it.
Mr. Boehner, is there something service department can set up?
No, I think that has to start in the administrative offices first, and then maybe Daryl's people would have to get involved in it, but I think that starting the girls up front.
Well, let me say one thing. Debbie has figured out that I've had contact with MSD, and she has a different contact with MSD. And I think what needs to happen is you develop a working relationship with MSD so that you can actually credit this kind of a situation. She's unable to do it, she says. Well, and I get that because she has to deal with MSD. I don't want you to have to pay for my water, but on the other hand, I don't want to have to pay for water that I didn't put down the sewer. So we're at an impasse here a little bit, and I think that the crux of the problem has to be you develop a relationship with MSD. I understand years ago that was not a problem, but today it's a problem for some reason. Who has the contract with MSD? Or do they have a contract?
They do have a contract.
Yeah.
So I can come and read that if I want to.
Sure.
Okay.
There's also a water dispute board in the city. Contact Patrick Ross.
Well, that's another problem. Okay.
Well, you asked what to do. I'm telling you what to do. There's a water dispute board. If you want to appeal your water bill, you can talk to him.
If you can get him to call you back, yeah. Okay, I'll call him. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Don.
Any others in the audience wishing to participate? Come on up, step to the mic, state your name, address, 5 minutes.
Okay, I'm Regina Richmond. I'm at 1722 Sanborn Drive, and this is my sister Renee Veely. And my dad, she was Athlete of the Year in '92. Very proud family moment there. Just wanted to see if, make sure all the council is aware of the project we have started at Hilltop. We're calling it the Hilltop basketball court restoration in memory of my son, Chad Richmond. And is everyone aware of it? Oh, good, 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 good. So we've been passing out these flyers. Has everyone seen the flyers that we've passed around? That is awesome. Okay, so, we have lots of Facebook pages going around, keeping it live on Facebook, getting a lot of excitement about the project. It took me a while to figure out if it was a city owned or school owned, and we're getting those questions also on Facebook. So, just wanted to put it out there that this is school property, and we have gotten school approval from the school board. Our goal is $150,000, and this is what we want the court to look like when we're finished. I do want it to match the baseball fields that are beautiful over there, and so we want it to be beautiful, because if I'm going to put my son's name on it, it's going to be beautiful. So we're working really hard to come up with the money. I think we've been raising money for about a week. We got a little over $10,000, and tonight I got a call from the Eagles, and they have committed to $5,000. I'm very excited about that. Rob Davis is going to be our treasurer for this venture, and we are going with Valley Central. So, that's also letting everyone know if you have checks you want to send, you can go to Valley Central, and it's under the Hilltop Basketball Court Restoration and memory of Chad Richmond. So what we just need to know is, do you guys have any advice for us? We just have big hearts, that we want to see this project done. I just retired from Ford Motor Company. I built transmissions. I'm not real business savvy, but like I said, I have a big heart, and I know that Chad would absolutely love this project. He played up there, as a small kid, and even when he came home from the Army, he was playing on that court, and so I would love to see that restored, and he would love it. It would be awesome. So, any advice y'all have for us? Let us know. Any encouragement? Any
Do you have
money?
a GoFundMe page or anything?
Well, right now the GoFundMe is in my personal. They've been sending it to my account. I don't know. I will get with Rob on that as far as GoFundMe, because not everybody's comfortable with the. Yeah, we do have a GoFundMe. I'm sorry, I was thinking Venmo. We do have a GoFundMe, and it's on the page.
Okay.
I think we have 125 on our page, but everyone's invited, and we'll accept your, request. So any questions or anything for us? Oh, and Mark, we'd like to really thank you for coming to our meeting and giving us ideas and suggestions and listening to us. Oh, we are having the event, the first event, on Veterans Day. It's going to be a little walk-a-thon, and we're excited. It's just going to be more of an awareness, and hoping a lot of kids will come out and be playing on the court, not twisting ankles on those cracks, but just getting some awareness to the courts and raising money. November 11th. We're going to be walking Renee's, especially since she's Athlete of the Year, from 7 to 7, and then we're going to have an opening ceremonies at 12. So everyone's invited, and bring lots of money. Yeah, and if y'all can help us with business sponsorships, so that would be awesome. Okay? All right, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck. Thank you.
Any other audience participation? I see more faces than usual, which is good. Okay, seeing none, moving on to reading of communications. Go ahead.
Well, my communication was the email from Renee. Renee, would you like me to read your email? Well, you sent me the email that I forwarded to everybody. Would you like me to read that? Sure. Okay. My name is Renee, Salyers Veely. Okay. I am Regina Richmond's sister as well as Chad Richmond's aunt. As you have heard, our family is in the process of raising money to restore the Hilltop basketball court in Chad's honor and for the betterment of the community. We wanted to reach out to you out of respect to make sure you were aware of the project. The family would appreciate any suggestions on promoting our project. Attached is a flyer to our first fundraising event. We also have a GoFundMe page and plans for a dodgeball tourney in the spring. This is a family and grassroots effort. We are doing our very best to do an excellent job, but feel free to give any advice. Thank you for your consideration and look forward to meeting you soon. Nice to meet you.
I'll make a motion to receive and file the communication. Second.
You were going to say that. I heard it.
I wasn't going to say that, no. I was just going to let you know that through the Parks Department, I've been researching a number of grants, and some are more catered towards nonprofits versus municipalities. If I see something useful, I will definitely send it your way.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor to receive and file the communication. Motion by Mr. Boehner, second by Mr. Bishop. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries by voice vote. All righty. Guest speakers. We Thrive is up first. Who do we have from We Thrive?
Okay, well, since we've got a whole host of people, I'm going to go ahead and get started. My name is Nicole Key. I am a health educator from Hamilton County Public Health on the We Thrive initiative. We Thrive is a community-led initiative in tandem with Hamilton County Public Health that improves long-term health outcomes, typically through policy, system, or environmental changes, but there's oftentimes some programmatic things as well. I am here on behalf of the We Thrive in Reading team to talk about all of the wonderful work they've been doing for the past 7 years. So with that, I will go ahead and turn it over.
Hi, I'm Tracy Ormond. We're kind of a subgroup of We Thrive with the Walk with Purpose. You've probably seen me and my husband walking about the streets of Reading, cleaning up litter and doing recycling. And it kind of started as our exercise. We'd just walk around the street and we'd see some garbage and we'd bring our bags and pick it up. And then it grew into something more. So with the help of We Thrive, we've gotten people to adopt streets that help the litter pickup and the recycling. And then now we also go to parks to recycle. We've been to all different events down at the parks, or just to help with the recycling. We've been down to the stadium for, soccer, youth football, the high school football games, and helped with litter pickup and recycling there. And we've done a lot of good, and I think the city looks a whole lot cleaner and better since then. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Donna Wiggins. I'm the volunteer market manager of the farmers market. We started the farmers market probably about 5 years ago. It was one of the first main projects the We Thrive team took on. Recently, the IGA store had closed, so there was no fresh food available in Reading. So we thought, hey, farmers market would be a great idea. So we started out in the parking lot of the American Legion and just had a few vendors, and we were buying stuff wholesale and selling it just to see if it would go over, and it did. And then we moved to the Bridal District, the corner of Reading and Benson, and we were there for a few years. And then we decided to become official. We're now Reading Farmers Market LLC. And we're getting vendors from a lot of different areas, Westchester, Liberty Township. We recently obtained a third farmer, or farmers, Chris and Jason Witt. They're from Reading. Their farm's not in Reading, but they are from Reading. So we have anywhere from 8 to 12 vendors a week. We go from mid-May to the end of September. And we have not only produce, but we have all natural soaps and lotions, jams, maple syrup, honey, baked goods, a lot of different things. And people really love to come to the market and shop, and the vendors just love being here. They said it's a different feel at the Reading market than some of the other markets they go to that are bigger. People in Reading, they come and they like to talk, and they come to shop, and they like to learn about their products. So they really enjoy coming here. So if you can, remember us in May. If you have any questions about the farmers market, it's Reading Farmers Market at AOL.com. Happy to answer any questions. If anybody's interested in being a vendor, just shoot me an email. There are some requirements, regulations from the state and the government, you know how that goes. But welcome anybody who wants to participate. And again, hope you all come out May to September every Friday on Vine Street. The city graciously allows us to use that lot. We are a nonprofit organization. The vendors do make a profit, but as far as the farmers market in general, anything that's left over from what we take in is funneled back through the We Thrive team and supports our projects through the team. So now you're going to hear from Annie about Adopt a Pot and Growing Community.
Hi, I'm Annie Hess. The Adopt a Pot project was something that we started working on when I first joined We Thrive back in 2019. We wanted to utilize the giant planters that were around the city that weren't being used at the time. And between businesses and our neighbors, we were able to find people to adopt each of the pots and then additional spots. And so we're about like 65 places around town are adopted. And the adopters have a goal of having their pots or spots filled by Memorial Day weekend, and then some even take on the task of doing more seasonal plantings. What's neat about the pots is that there aren't any rules as to what to plant, so each one is kind of reflective of the person who adopted it. The Bridal District pots are unified in that they have pink geraniums and sweet potato vines, but then there's another pot that was filled with herbs that the community was encouraged to snip and use in their kitchens. And then I don't know if you've seen the one that's down on the corner of Columbia and Reading, but it's still like bursting with impatiens. So it's kind of neat to see all of them around town. And then last year you might have seen there were signs in them, and it labels who the adopter is, kind of gives an overview of what the project is in case someone's interested in adopting a pot. And then it also has a QR code, and that QR code goes to our website. But in the future, we're hoping that it also will have what the planter put in there, so in case you want to have them in your yard as well, so kind of communication that way. We have a few resident gardens around town that have been identified by the Cincinnati Zoo's pollination program for having native plants and plants that are attractive to pollinators. And this is the next step of what we want to do with this project, is to try to educate and encourage people to plant more items that will be attractive to the butterflies and bees and other pollinating insects. But sometimes a city could get wrapped up in these big idea projects, and I think that the Adopt a Pot program goes to show you that little things can make a big difference. I think that when someone is waiting at a red light or passing through our small town, they see these pots and they see that we are a community of people who care about our town and want to make it a little more beautiful. The other project that I want to talk to you about is something that we just started this year. It's called Growing Community. It came about because we realized that a group of us within We Thrive really cared about things having to do with plants, and so we decided to make a subgroup of that. And when we met, we realized that it was going to be more than your average garden club, so we renamed it Growing Community, which we felt signified all that we hoped to do with this project. Once a month we meet, and members can choose to host a meeting with a topic of their choosing. And for the months that people don't choose, we've had speakers come to talk to us about things like community gardens and composting and how to grow dahlias.
We just had a meeting in October where we were invited to tour the St. Peter and Paul Cemetery, which happens to have an amazing collection of trees and plants that are, one I didn't realize was incredibly rare growing in our cemetery. We've also been invited to tour people's home gardens, and they share their successes in their garden and things that they're still working on. And what's great about this group is that it's open to everybody. So we have some really advanced gardeners, and we have people who are just starting out, but we've learned a lot from each other. Through our Hamilton County rep, Alex, she connected us to a group called the Society of St. Andrew. I'm not sure if you're familiar with them, but they're a group whose goal is to reduce food waste and end hunger. And because of them, we were able to provide our members with vegetable seeds that they could plant at no cost, as well as seed potatoes and tomato plants. One of the goals in Growing Community is to help people feel comfortable and confident enough to grow their own food, to become a little more self-sufficient and have a say in their nutrition, as well as educate about the potential of their own yards. And probably the best part of Growing Community, and really We Thrive in general, is that we're connecting and building relationships with our neighbors that otherwise we would have had no interaction with.
Hi, I'm Mary Zander, and this is my daughter Grace, and we're here to talk about the Park Passport Program. And we're here to talk primarily as users of the Park Passport Program. So this aspect of We Thrive, you may have seen around town a number of the different plaques that are at our different parks or several of our different community buildings, such as the library, the Heafy Field House. And each summer, We Thrive sponsors a program where kids can get a packet and go around town and do etchings of the plaques at each of these locations. And then at the end of that, they get a treat. So what we really liked in our family was that it not only got us around town to get us to some of our favorite locations that we've been to several times, a lot of our favorite parks, but it also taught us about new parks that we didn't even know were in Reading. And we know Reading isn't that big, but there are lots of little parks hidden in lots of different places around town. And this program really helped us to find some of these small little places that we didn't know about before. And then at the end of the summer, the kids got to do their favorite part, I think, which was to take their completed passports to Von der Haar's Creamy Whip and get a free ice cream at the end of the summer. So we really enjoyed that program. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary.
I'm Elise Capaccio, and I'm here to talk about the We Thrive website. So back in April, we launched a We Thrive website. It's wethrivereading.org. And I believe we're the first branch of We Thrive to build our own site.
You are.
So, making a good name for Reading. We wanted to build a website because we obviously have a lot going on, and most of the communication is in an email chain. And so it's hard to, if you're interested in joining, you kind of have to know someone who's already a part of it. We built the website so people can go there and learn about past and current initiatives. And then there's also a calendar, so with all of our events like Growing Community and the Farmers Market. So again, it's wethrivereading.org. Since launching in April, we've had 978 visitors, 738 unique visitors, which I think is pretty decent for a little organization. If you want to learn anything more about anything we've talked about tonight or other initiatives we didn't get to, or if you zoned out and want to review, you can go to wethrivereading.org.
So you've heard about all of the good work that the We Thrive and Reading team has done. I will say in these past 6 years, they have won 8 awards. These awards are not, they're nominated by community members, but they're not granted by myself or my coworkers at Hamilton County Public Health. They're actually chosen by the Board of Health, the Health Commissioner, and the Assistant Health Commissioner. So you really can see how impactful and how great the work the team has done. I will say that looking forward, we have our 2022 recognition event. I'm sure you all got invitations. We would love to see you all there. But moving forward, I'm going to turn things over to Ken so he can talk a little bit about what's going on in 2023 and onward.
Hello, my name's Ken Wheatmartian. I'm here to talk about the new pickleball courts that we'll be getting in Reading. Pickleball is a sport that combines elements of tennis, badminton, and ping pong and played on a badminton-sized court with a modified net. You use paddles and balls just like these. They can be enjoyed by people of all ages and all skill levels. Pickleball is America's fastest growing sport. Pickleball courts are springing up all over the country and all over the Cincinnati area. Currently, there are approximately 60 locations to play pickleball in the Cincinnati area. With the cooperation between the City of Reading and We Thrive purchased poles and nets for 2 courts, and the city has agreed to install them this spring at Canic Park. So this spring, we'll have 2 pickleball courts in Reading that people can use. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Ken.
Last but not least, our latest project is what we hope will be the first annual City of Reading Holiday Walk. Several members of the We Thrive team are working with Debbie Peak and the Reading Bridal District to tag on to the end of the Girl Scouts tree lighting and crib dedication ceremony on December 2nd. So from 6:30 to 9, we are having vendors and decorated storefronts and activities and hopefully carolers going down Benson Street. So after you go to the tree lighting and the crib decoration, walk on down Benson and check out all the cool stuff we've got going on. We already have 20 vendors signed up to participate, having various items to sell. I'm pretty sure there's going to be spirit wear too from the school. But again, we hope to have carolers, is still a work in process, and getting activities for the kids. I think there's going to be face painting, and I'm hoping to get a balloon guy, just finding all these people to come. So it's first annual City of Reading Holiday Walk. Elise, again, build us a website. It's readingholidayWalk.com if you'd like more information, if you want to be a vendor, if you want to participate. If you want to make a donation, we'd love corporate donations. We're also going to decorate all of the flower pots in the bridal district in a winter theme for the event. So anybody who wants to contribute to that, more than welcome. And I guess that's about it for the We Thrive team. Myself and Elise and Sabrina are the co-navigators of the team, and we just kind of organize everybody together and help decide what projects that we're going to do. If you'd like more information on We Thrive, again, it's wethrivereading.org or wethrivereading@gmail.com. If you'd like information on the farmers market, there is a page within that website about the farmers market, or you can email readingfarmersmarket@aol.com. Thank you. Appreciate letting us come and tell you about our group.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
It was great.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you.
And absolutely incredible what you've all accomplished too. So thank you from the city.
Up next, Tim Newman and Jason from ICRC.
Thank you. It'll just be Tim Newman tonight. Jason's unavailable to be here. I was really glad to see the We Thrive people here. ICRC actually worked with Sabrina Smith a couple years ago on a really nice video to promote the Reading Farmers Market. So that was a very enjoyable project that we undertook and helped out the city and the farmers market. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak to everyone over the last few weeks, last few council meetings. I feel I've done my best to present council and administration with information regarding the video production services and public access benefits currently available to the city and the residents of Reading through the membership of the ICRC. At the last meeting, I presented information about the expanded services ICRC can provide regarding assisting with the city's website and social media pages. I think we can all agree that a relevant website social media presence strengthens community engagement and promotes economic development and growth in any municipality. So the question has been asked on several occasions, how many people watch public access TV? How many people watch Reading City Council meetings, St. John Church services, Settlement Day dinner, and the other Historical Society content produced by the ICRC? Unfortunately, I cannot answer that question. Neither Spectrum or Altafiber provide that viewership information to me, and I've asked. But I can tell you, based on an average franchise fee of $5 per subscriber and the average amount of $31,000 in a quarterly franchise fees that the city receives, I estimate there are roughly 2,000 cable subscribers in Reading. That's about 40% of the households in Reading. So that's 2,000 subscribers who can watch council meetings and other Reading content on the ICRC channels. That's also 2,000 subscribers who may not have a computer, who may not have internet access. They will not be able to watch council meetings if the internet is the only availability to watch the council meetings. So last week, Reading and ICRC signed an amendment to extend the written notice of cancellation from November 1st to December 1st. I would welcome the opportunity to attend your next committee meeting, discuss how ICRC can best help Reading utilize the resources available to the entire community of Reading. I encourage council to vote to continue its membership in the ICRC. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim.
Any other presenters we don't know about? Okay, moving on, executive session, non-scheduled, any reason for one? Okay. Guest and administrative official reports, Mayor Bemis.
Oh, thank you, Dwight. Please remember, everybody, to call 911 with any police, fire, EMS emergencies. We ask everybody to shop our wonderful businesses here in Reading. You know, our businesses support our city, our schools, our organizations, wonderful businesses. We ask everybody to shop here. Our exterior property maintenance code enforcement officer continues to address property issues with the goal of identifying violations and finding solutions. And Rick Martin works very closely with people to try to help them correct things that are a city violation. And I remember several years ago he sent out 1,300 tickets and only 9 ended up in court, which is very satisfying to me. We don't want people fined about it. We want to help people find ways to fix their properties. You know, we got quite a few events coming up. You know, you just heard of a few, but this weekend, Sunday at 12:30 at the Hayfie Fieldhouse, we're going to have a community tailgate party. So we hope everybody comes down and enjoys the day. We ask people to bring their own drinks, their own food, and some food to share if you want. But again, that's this Sunday, starting at 12:30 at the Hayfie Fieldhouse. During Veterans Day, which is November 11th, we have several different organizations. The Cincinnati Classical Academy is having a Veterans Day ceremony. St. Peter and Paul Academy is having a 2:15 Mass. Reading High School is having a morning ceremony for our veterans, and our American Legion at 5 o'clock is going to have a ceremony to dispose of worn and battered flags that people might want to get rid of. And we had a Boy Scout do an Eagle Scout project, and it has a new pit, really nice to dispose of flags. So several different things happening on Veterans Day. Our fire department on November 18th and 19th will have their yearly turkey disposal, always a wonderful event. Starts again at 7 p.m. at Hayfie Fieldhouse, and it is always a great event, and come support our Reading Fire Department. The Knights of St. John's will have their ham raffle on December 10th and 11th. Always a great time there. Best turtle soup on earth for anybody that likes turtle soup, and always a great time at the Knights, and a good fundraiser for them. Our American Legion on December 10th, they always have their annual viewing of the Army-Navy game. Nothing like watching an Army-Navy game in a place filled with veterans. But it starts at 3 o'clock there. I think tickets are $20 to get in. Always a lot of good food there. We have an incredibly important election coming up in our city here next Tuesday. You know, and want to encourage everybody to get out and vote. You know, it's amazing to me how clear it is, how much more our federal and state reps and decisions they make, you know, affect us daily here in the city of Reading. You know, things from the prices of food and gasoline and our utility bills, and, you know, it filters down here to City Hall too with public safety and, you know, trying to keep our city and really our state and our country as safe as we can. So, you know, hope everybody gets educated. Please get out and vote in an incredibly important election. We encourage people to become part of Hamilton County's emergency notification system. You know, the city of Reading can utilize that for emergency notifications here in our city. So please go to smart911.com to help out there. Again, there will be an ordinance tonight. Years of hard work are paying off on South Reading Road. So a new agreement the council has been looking over there, and it has been years in the process. You know, south of Galbraith Road has, for a long time, you know, been an issue for us, and other communities as well, Amberley Village, Sycamore Township, City of Cincinnati. So we've all worked together with the state of Ohio, and there are good improvements to come. You know, I think to remind people, 50 years ago it was the place to go. You know, when I was in high school, Roselawn area, the Carousel, you know, beautiful part of town. It's steadily gone downhill. We've had a couple opportunities at development there that fell through, but this will be a major step with a lot of help to get that done. Goodness, you know, police department report, I'm sure Shelley will go over, in fire department and the service department. They remain very, very busy. You know, as of this week, you know, without a dispatch office and with less personnel, we're going to start closing our Hayfie Fieldhouse at 9:30 p.m. on Monday through Thursdays. And then on Fridays and Saturdays, it'll be open potentially till 11 o'clock by permit only. Again, you know, with less staffing and with the loss of a dispatch office, it was getting harder to figure out where people would pick up keys, where they drop them off, so we can keep track of keys. And so anyway, we'll be making that change here soon. You know, as always, appreciate all everybody does. You know, the We Thrive group has done incredible things in our city, truly have. And, you know, we as a city, when they first approached, you know, a lot of ideas that we loved. But, you know, our first and foremost priority is public safety, you know, protecting life and property and making sure our roads are passable and our street lights work and potholes are filled and garbage is removed. And we needed people to step up in other areas to get things done. And truly, We Thrive has done that. We're very, very appreciative, help when we can. Like was said on December 2nd, our Reading Girl Scouts annually put on our crib dedication and tree lighting ceremony. You know, this year, I'm virtually certain we will be closing after 6:30, or probably very close to 6:30, Benson Street from Market Street to Jefferson. Again, so booths can be put up on the street, and there will be, again, businesses there, and they'll have some prizes, and it'll be another neat occasion in our city. And again, thank We Thrive for stepping up with that. And other than that, Dwight, that's it for me.
Very good. Any questions for the mayor?
Mr. Mayor, as far as field house hours, when is, you got an idea when that'll be effective, or is it?
Immediately.
Immediately?
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Safety Service Director is not here. Do you have a report for him?
No, pretty much the same.
All right. Moving on, Law Director.
I have no formal report. Mr. Benbow, I do have some information for you on the Water Dispute Board, if you'd like to get that before you leave.
Okay. And we'll find out more of what was said from the Water Department, too, without any of us knowing that. It was tough to comment here, so I hadn't heard that. You know, we've had several incredibly busy days here, but I'll find out from Debbie and from Patrick what's happened. And
Don't take your time, it's waited since August, you know.
okay. Yeah, first I heard of that today, Don, so we'll look into it.
Move on. Treasurer's report.
Thank you. I do have income tax collection numbers for October and year-to-date. For October, individual resident income tax collected was $63,966. Business net profits income tax collected was $22,564. And payroll withholding income tax collected was $606,041. The total collected for October is $692,571. Year-to-date, the total collected is $8,007,167. That is all quite a mouthful to say, and that's all I have.
Very good. Thank you. Any questions for our treasurer? All right, moving on. Auditor's report. She's not here. Anybody have a report for her? Okay. Moving on, council committee reports, finance, Mr. Bronner.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Finance Committee met on October 25th to discuss a request by the Reading Community Improvement Corporation Board that the net proceeds of the Nivison property sale remain in their account. That amount is $392,848.26. The money will capitalize the CIC for economic development purposes and ongoing expenses. Any expenditures would still need to be approved by council. Finance Committee agreed this is a good idea, and Mr. Stevenson is in the process of drafting an ordinance for full city council approval. Thank you.
Any questions for Mr. Bronner? Moving on, utilities, lands, and buildings, Mr. Bishop.
Thank you, Mr. President. I don't have a formal report, but I do want to extend my gratitude and that of a number of people for the service department for painting the left turn arrows on Reading Road in Columbia, across from the CVS and between Dairy Farmers and CVS. They got it done, and I hope it helps. I know, sure, they're more visible now, so thanks to Mayor Bemis and Patrick for their help in getting that done also. But it was great to see the service guys out there on a good day. We had one of our good days left, so.
Mark will get a little bit more rest in his ward.
Okay, moving on, zoning, planning, and development, Mr. Powell.
Do not have a formal report, just want to say that I will be looking to schedule a committee meeting probably in the next month or so to go over some issues.
You have a kind of plan of what day that might be?
Not yet. I still got to talk to people and see when other people might be available, and then committee members.
Very good. Moving on, laws and contracts, Mrs. Edichico.
Thank you, Mr. President. I held a Laws and Contracts Committee meeting on Monday, October 24th, to discuss overturning Section 624.24 in our city's Code of Ordinance that prohibits processing facilities and dispensaries for cannabis. As I mentioned during my report on October 4th, the city has been approached by Chris Fox of Black Fox Gardens, who has a letter of intent to purchase 10 acres of the Hill Street property and would like to build a medical marijuana processing facility and dispensary. I was hoping to have the ordinance and first reading ready for tonight, but our committee is still waiting on some answers. We would like to limit the number of dispensaries to just one within the city limits and limit them to a conditional use and only light industrial zones. I'm waiting to hear back from Dan Brooks about whether or not this would have to go through zoning and planning. If that's the case, Mr. Powell suggested having separate ordinances, one to overturn the moratorium and one to limit the number and areas where allowed. This might be the best way to get the ball rolling. Hopefully I'll have some more answers soon, and I plan to have the ordinance or ordinances ready for the first reading by our November 15th meeting. And that's all I have.
Very good. Any questions for Mrs. Edichico? All right, moving on. Public health and safety, Mrs. Kroger.
Thank you. For the month of October, our police department made 963 calls for service. 37 of those were auto accidents, 102 were booking of original charges, with total criminal charges of 132. Total citations were 88. For the month of October, we had a few theft charges, most of which have ended in arrest or the recovery of stolen items. Some overdoses and several auto accidents, some of which were charged with OVI. For the most part, it was a relatively quiet month.
The fire department for October, total EMS responses was 196, fire responses was 68 for a total of 264. The fire department provided ambulance coverage for this, for several of the Reading High School football games, which we greatly appreciate. They provided a fire prevention program for Reading kindergarten and preschool classes, and they also attended the Reading Schools Halloween Parade. And that's all I got.
Thank you. Any questions for Mrs. Kroger?
Just in addition to what Ms. Kroger said, I don't know if anybody else noticed it, but Chief Edens was on patrol during the football game on Friday night. I don't know how many communities would have their chief of police walking a beat, but he was there, and I know we really appreciate it. I just think that speaks volumes about the man.
That's at least the second or third time.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Any others?
It isn't the first time a chief, you know, when we're struggling with manpower. Scott Snow would step
Moving
in
on.
as well.
Service, Mr. Boehner.
Thank you, Mr. President. City crew's been out patching potholes in the streets. The mulcher's been out collecting branches. City crews painted soccer and football fields. The city crew repaired water main breaks on Pleasant Street near Vonderhaar's, repaired 2 catch bases, one on Pleasant and the other at Market and Pleasant. City crews will be going around town grinding, repairing roadways that need repair. City crew repaired roadway at Breezy Vista at 2 locations. They also repaired a water service line at Southern Avenue between Jefferson and Reading Road. City crew repaired catch base at West Street and Bernard and 2nd Street in the alleyway and on Fenton and Walnut Streets. City crews have trimmed trees on Maple Tree subdivision that were overhanging the roadway. City crews have started picking up leaves throughout the city. They try to pick up the day after your trash pickup, but as this week and next week will probably be delayed because of just the sheer number of leaves. We got 2 crews out picking up leaves, so it's going to take them to get around the city to get the volume of leaves they can. They can't. They can only put as many leaves will fit in that truck. They can vacuum all they want, but the truck only holds so much. So be patient. They'll be there. Please do not rake your leaves out in the street. We have a couple people put them out in the street right on top of catch basin. That's asking for trouble. Please put them out to the right away, and we'll get them up as soon as we can. City crew repaired the curb line at Reading and Mechanic Street. City crew painted the turn arrows of West Columbia for northbound Reading Road traffic, as I asked the service department 2 weeks ago, and they jumped on that first chance they had. We appreciate Mr. Bishop asking for that. I think that'll make a big difference down there. And that's all I have at this time.
Very good. Any questions for Mr. Boehner? Last but not least, Mr. Tomlin, Recreation.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is all just reiteration, but on Sunday, November 6th, we will be hosting a tailgate party outside of the Hayfie Field House and the community pool. Should be a good time. Hopefully we see a better effort.
Than last night.
On November 11th, we have, as the mayor stated, we have several different options for Veterans Day. But especially I would like to push the walkathon at Hilltop from 7 to 7. Opening ceremony at noon, closing ceremony at 7 o'clock. Love to see everybody turn out to honor Chad Richmond's memory and to raise PTSD awareness. And lastly, on Friday, December 2nd, I'm very excited about the first annual Holiday Walk, crib dedication, and tree lighting on Benson Street. Please remember you can go for more information at readingholidaywalk.com. Love to see a big turnout.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Tomlin? Okay, moving on. Other business. Any other business? Legislative session. Reading of resolutions.
Resolution approving the Reading Road Corridor Plan.
I don't have a copy of that. Anybody get a copy of that?
Do you want to see it? Oh, that's, oh.
The plan
That's
or
not what I know.
the resolution?
Hold on.
The resolution.
I got the plan.
Mike gets it.
So we're going to call that a first reading.
I'll make a motion to suspend the rules for second and third reading.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion by Mrs. Edichico, second by Mrs. Kroger, to suspend the rules requiring the second and third readings. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Powell.
No.
Sorry, Mr. Bronner.
Yes.
Mr. Bishop.
Yes.
Mr. Boehner.
No.
Mr. Tommen.
Yes.
Mrs. Kroger.
Yes.
Mrs. Edichico.
Yes.
Okay, so we have 5 yes, 2 no. It's a first reading. Next up.
Resolution accepting the amounts and rates as determined by the Budget Commission and authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county auditor.
Is this something that needs to be passed tonight?
That I don't know.
You know, I think it is what it is, and you can, you know, it's a yearly statement of what we're going to receive, so I think the sooner we accept it, the sooner we get it, so.
I'll make a motion, we suspend the rules requiring a second, third reading.
Second.
So we have a motion by Mr. Boehner and a second by Mrs. Kroger to suspend rules requiring a second and third reading. Roll call, please.
Mr. Powell.
Yes.
Mr. Bronner.
Yes.
Mr. Bishop.
Yes.
Mr. Boehner.
Yes.
Mr. Tommen.
Yes.
Mrs. Kroger.
Yes.
Mrs. Edichico.
Yes.
7 yes, motion carries.
Motion to adopt?
Second.
So motion to adopt by Mrs. Edichico, was it? And second by Mr. Bronner.
Do we get discussion?
Discussion.
Just so the general public knows, this resolution is allowing us to spend the money that we've already been appropriated by the county. And it's also authorizing the already tax levies that we already get. This is nothing new. It just amounts to more paperwork, but we have to pass it to, so we can be able to spend money next year, basically.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor to adopt by Mrs. Edichico and a second by Mr. Bronner. Roll call, please.
Mr. Powell.
Yes.
Mr. Bronner.
Yes.
Mr. Bishop.
Yes.
Mr. Boehner.
Yes.
Mr. Tommen.
Yes.
Mrs. Kroger.
Yes.
Mrs. Edichico.
Yes.
7 yes. Ordinance carries, or resolution carries. What's the resolution number?
2022-31R.
Very good. Moving on to ordinances.
This is a third reading. An ordinance directing the Safety Service Director to terminate the agreement with the Intercommunity Cable Regulatory Commission, otherwise known as ICRC, for video and broadcasting services for the City of Reading and declaring an emergency.
Motion to adopt?
Second.
We have a motion to adopt by Mr. Bishop, second by Mr. Bronner. Roll call, please.
Mr. Powell.
Yes.
Mr. Bronner.
Yes.
Mr. Bishop.
Yes.
Mr. Boehner.
No.
Mr. Tommen.
Yes.
Mrs. Kroger.
Yes.
Mrs. Edichico.
Yes.
6 yes, ordinance carries. Ordinance number?
2022-32. An ordinance directing the Safety Service Director to enter into a 2-year agreement with ESP Media to provide video and streaming services for the City of Reading beginning on January 1st, 2023, and declaring an emergency. Third reading.
Motion to adopt?
Second.
Motion to adopt by Mr. Bishop, second by Mrs. Kroger. Roll call, please.
Mr. Powell?
Yes.
Mr. Bronner?
Yes.
Mr. Bishop?
Yes.
Mr. Boehner?
No.
Mr. Tommen?
Yes.
Mrs. Kroger?
Yes.
Mrs. Edichico?
Yes.
6 yes, ordinance carries. Ordinance number?
2022-33.
I've got a question here, Mr. President. With the ordinance that we just passed, terminating our agreement with the ICRC, I'll make a motion that we need an ordinance that will rescind ordinance 8262, which is grants us the power to charge 2% more the franchise fee to pay for the ICRC. It doesn't make sense to bill people another 2% for cable access when they no longer have a use for cable access.
It's understood. So you have a motion to rescind ordinance 82-62.
Right.
Okay. The thing is, we're going to need something in writing, probably to vote on.
I have one, I just have to get a better copy of it.
Okay.
You don't have a second?
Right, but are you going to help them with that?
I'll do whatever the council chooses to do, but right now you don't have a second.
Right. So we don't have a second for that anyway, but yeah, probably waiting for that
All right.
in writing. Any others?
Motion adjourned.
Motion adjourned by Mr. Boehner.
Second.
Second by Mrs. Kroger. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Have a good night.